What's going on, everybody? I thought about staying silent there to start this thing off and then having one of you guys just ask what was going on, but chickened out. What's up? How are you guys?
Pretty good, thank you. Ben is he's
Is he still
struggling.
reeling after last week?
Uh,
He's still dead inside?
yeah, lots of things.
It's all right.
Ah,
One point I would like to make about tonight is that we are not playing funky films. We are talking about If, as promised. Ben, do you like that one point that I made just now?
I'm about to become imaginary to you, George.
Hey, let's
I'm
talk
about to
about it.
become a big if.
Let's talk about it. What do you guys think?
Yeah, well, let me jump in before Ben has his fun with this one. But and I know he'll disagree with me, but look, is this a good movie? Probably not. Actually, no, I don't think it is. But it is cute. It is very cute. And I
The
went
well
in
intentioned.
with very,
That's
very low expectations. The trailer made it look way worse than I left the theater feeling. Like the trailers made it look unwatchable. It was not unwatchable.
no.
Um, like, yeah, it's flawed, but it's a kids movie. And I personally am a sucker for films that sort of spark that childhood wonder of like it's okay to be a kid. It's okay to sort of have an escape from the world. And I think, does this really add anything to my life? No, but I thought it was a cute movie and I enjoyed it. I did not feel like I wanted to leave. I did not feel like this was the worst thing I've ever seen. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. It was still not a great movie. And it was cheesy in some points to the point where it's like, okay, let's pull it back here. But overall, I enjoyed it. I thought it was kind of fun.
I'm gonna hop
Yeah,
in
I
before
mean,
Ben tears it apart too. Sorry. Not really. Yeah, I agree 100%. No, it's not going to be in my top 10 movies of the year. No, it's not probably not going to be in my top 20 movies of the year by the time we get to, 6, 7 months from now.
No.
But it is, as you said, Max, fun. It's got a lot of heart. It's cute. There are some really, really good moments with Ryan Reynolds and with John Krasinski and with Cailey Fleming, who is a very talented child actor. She's done some really good stuff so far in her career. Um, but yeah, it's not supposed to be, you know, this art piece that Krasinski challenges something about your preconceived notions about the world with this deconstructed imaginary friends type thing. That's what the other movie Imaginary that just came out. That's what that's for.
I
This
enjoyed that one.
this is for families. It's a
That's the
good, early summer flick. I liked it.
the imaginary friends kill people in that one.
Yeah, I saw the
Great.
trailer.
Yeah, I mean, like when I was watching this one, I was like, oh, this could very easily be turned into Imaginary. Because I knew it was sort of more.
Well, all these things were even imaginary was really stupid too. I think yeah, I mean it's kind of cool to deal with. It just didn't do anything new to me, and
Yeah,
worse than that, it seemed very confusing for a kids movie. There was
sure.
like a lot of stuff going on. I feel like a kid just can't just sit there and watch it. I feel like there's random things going on. I don't know. It just felt a little disjointed. I mean, it's definitely well intentioned,
Yeah.
but it didn't vibe with me. Especially some of the acting is kind of off. Um,
Ryan
I don't
Reynolds.
disagree with anything that you just said, and yet
Yeah,
my
me
my
neither.
opening statement still stands.
yeah,
Ryan Reynolds,
I
as
think
as great and charismatic as he is in literally everything he does, he's missing a lot of that here. And I feel like he could have been this sort of Willy Wonka type character. And I get that he's sort of disillusioned and jaded because of the reveal at the
he's
end.
so depressed. I think that's stain on the movie for me. It's like, is it a good movie? No, but I couldn't have fun because of how melodramatic everything was.
That's
It's
fair.
like her mom's dead. Her dad, I don't know, is his heart broken? I don't know what's wrong with him, to be honest. I just never, that
That's
part
that's the
I'm
only thing
very
that they say is
confused
wrong with
of.
him is that his heart's broken.
And then, but what really got me is like, okay, so he's just going in for a surgery, but then the grandma, um, like she finds the child, um, and what was her name?
The child. The
The
child,
child.
B?
the
Child.
Elizabeth.
I think just go with the child.
Is this Grogu? Are we going full Mando here? I would
but
like
yeah,
to see the baby.
B, B sees the grandma, and then she's like, "It's your father. It's not you. It's your father." And she's so worried. And I didn't really understand it. Isn't this like a normal surgery? I didn't.
It
I
should have been.
just, yeah. I guess I get it. I don't know. There's just all I could kept thinking of is, man, I wish I was watching Pan's Labyrinth
A
because
different
that's
type
kind
of
of,
imaginary friend.
yeah, but it's the same sort of like,
The fawn is very much not Cal the clown.
it's like a trauma. I don't know. They're actually very similar movies. One's just the very happy kids version. One's the depressed, like magical realism version. But
That's if, right?
yeah, all I'm not sure if this is with my theater, but the aspect ratio was screwed up on this movie to the point where like in the beginning where they're doing all the credits, like people were credited off screen, like it was cutting off people's names.
No.
That would probably be
That
your
would
theater.
be that would be unique.
And yeah, that also
Be a
kind of
choice. We thought
that's
about doing that for Putt Putt, but then decided to drag the names onto the screen.
that kind of took me out for 10 minutes too. So maybe that ruined my movie experience.
If misplaced credits is all it takes for you to have a
Well,
movie
no,
viewing
it was
experience
that
ruined,
the screen was shrunk. The aspect ratio was screwed up, so it just cut off things that were in the movie.
Yeah, that's kind of
was it
weird.
like super wide on a standard screen?
Yes.
Interesting.
Hmm.
I,
I don't know if I've had that.
I mean, I saw it in Dolby, so there were no issues there, and it was big,
yeah,
massive.
I don't know what happened. I think there's some kids crying
Oh
that
yeah, me too.
movie less fun. That's really why I hate kids movies because kids go to them and unfortunately they're not very
You just gotta go at weird times. Go like at 10 o'clock at night and scare the AMC employee, like, scare the movie theater employees. Like, why is this
Can I have one
24-year-old
ticket
guy
to
coming in to
If,
watch If at 10
please?
o'clock?
do they even show if would they show a kids movie at 10 o'clock?
I don't
Yes,
think
they
so. I
would.
think the latest one they had was like the one that I went to, and it was 7:15.
Yeah,
I
that was
went to
pretty
a
much the
showing
latest one.
at 11:45 a.m. on a Tuesday.
That's weird. I bet you felt weird doing that
Tuesday's
one.
my off day, and the room was actually mostly adults.
Hmm.
Um, the other thing is, did you guys ever watch Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends?
Yes.
Wait, what?
Foster's
This
Home for Imaginary Friends?
You are
Yeah.
not the first person to bring that up to me, Ben.
More than the fact that it is a Foster's home for imaginary friends that they're running, even though they call it like a retirement community, I guess it's kind of cute. Um, they literally call the purple monster Blue, which is the name of the main imaginary friend in that show. It's like, was that intentional? I don't know. Um, but yeah,
Yeah,
I guess I just kept thinking of this is kind of cute, but I don't watch kids' movies anymore because I don't enjoy that.
They're too sophisticated for you, aren't they? Too many layers.
Yeah,
he
there's a
just
lot of
doesn't
stuff
understand
going
them.
on.
Yeah, it's okay.
I watched a lot of David Lynch films, and this one confused me, to be honest. I didn't know what was
Okay, this
happening.
was not a David Lynch film. Were you expecting it to be?
I
Did your
expected it to
theater
make more
also put
sense.
David Lynch's name on the screen where it should have said John Krasinski?
Um, No. Though I did see Louis Gossett Jr.
The
in
late
his
great,
last role. Huh?
the late
Yeah, in
great
his
Louis
last
Gossett Jr.
role. And
Did you catch introducing Brad Pitt as Keith?
yeah.
Another wink to Deadpool 2, which this is
Uh
the second time a movie we've done on the pod indirectly referenced Brad Pitt as the Vanisher, because Bullet Train was Brad Pitt's movie with the brief cameo from Ryan Reynolds.
yeah, but that
And
doesn't
in
that's
their
separate.
junket, they were talking about how Brad Pitt was in like 3 frames of Deadpool 2, and then Ryan Reynolds was in maybe 40 frames a second of Bullet Train.
Yeah.
There's sort of a nice little back and forth that the two of them had. I should
I don't
watch
think
Bullet Train
Brad Pitt
again.
had to show up to play Keith though.
I don't think so either. Unless they had him lay down with
Well,
a.
yeah, it definitely seemed like John Krasinski was pulling in some favors. Everybody's a big name.
Mm,
Um,
He, I ran sound from him in my show last weekend, and he said that literally everybody he called said yes to being in this movie.
yeah.
And I would guess for the most part, it's because it was all voice work, and
No, it's exceptionally easy.
you
And they're
show
all
up
kind of
to
fun.
a recording booth for one day, run your lines down, and then go home and collect the check. But like,
Yeah, I mean it's
when you can
it's
assemble this kind of voice cast, I mean, looking at these voices, you get Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Steve Carell, Louis Gossett Jr., Matt Damon, Emily Blunt, Sam Rockwell, Maya Rudolph, Sebastian Maniscalco, Richard Jenkins, Christopher Maloney, Aquafina, Jon Stewart, Keegan-Michael Key, Bradley Cooper, George Clooney, Amy Schumer, Blake Lively, Brad Pitt, Bill Hader. I just listed more
thought
than a
they got
dozen
Emily Blunt,
names.
but whatever.
Like,
She's kind of busy.
huh?
who?
I don't know how they got Emily Blunt. She seems kind of busy.
Yeah, yeah,
How is
that's
she
true.
busy? The Fall Guy was in theaters for 17 days before it released on digital.
That's actually such a shame. Such a shame. But yeah, I mean, Ben,
Makes me mad.
you brought up the just going back to the substance and the content of the movie. Ben, you talked about the sort of like when the grandmother grabbed B and was like freaking out that he might die, and one wasn't even close to being dead. Two, they knew it was a surgery that day. And three, they never explained what it was. So I don't know what's going on,
I
what
have
could be
no
wrong
idea.
with him. So
It's
like
like I get the child being like freaked out. It's like, oh, dad's going through
it's a
something.
kid, right?
But
Like,
the grandma was like freaked out, and I was like,
yeah,
this grandma was stone cold, just having fun a second ago. What happened? Is this just
yeah.
child going to become an orphan?
I had a question for you guys.
I think that would
Content
actually be
related.
a killer way to end the movie. They just kill the dad.
That creates the trauma that you were talking about, Ben.
Yeah.
It's a family feel good movie of the summer. All
And then
right,
it
so
ends with her getting depressed and like failing to see all the imaginary friends anymore. And then
Yeah,
she's
if two,
left
this
alone.
is just like Inside Out, but they're doing like parallel tracks where if two becomes the next step in her evolution of being depressed if her dad died.
Oh my God. It's just gonna go
depression,
through
anger,
everybody dying.
bargaining,
Yeah, grandmother dies
Grandma's
in
gonna
depression,
die.
three. And
denial,
then
And
anger,
in
bargaining,
four, all of
depression.
the imaginary friends are gonna
Acceptance.
grow old and
Yeah,
die.
Calvin has like an existential crisis running his new business and like kills all the imaginary friends.
So-
It's super
He
I
dark
would
even
becomes
see
for
a
that.
killer
Ryan
clown.
Reynolds.
He becomes
See that.
killer clown, bro.
But
Ryan
like,
Reynolds did do a movie where he hears voices. I think it was called Three Voices. He like hears voices from his dog. His dog talks to him. Like
I think that's just Deadpool.
I think that's just sprays.
no, it was way before any of that.
Green Lantern.
Um, but yeah, he actually no, he kills people, but he doesn't realize he's having a psychotic break. He's just like this happy-go-lucky guy, and then somebody comes over and they see the
Oh, this
house is
is this is Ryan
collapsed.
Reynolds pre Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't like pre. I don't know. I don't I don't remember
Before
when
he
it
was
when it came out.
Deadpool Wrexham guy.
But yeah, it was definitely before that.
So
Um,
in the film, we see the moments where the grandmother and Bobby Moynihan's character Jeremy have the moment of memory for their imaginary friends, what the hell is B's moment of memory to make her see Calvin in the first place? Is it the painting and the artwork in her grandmother's apartment?
Yeah, I
There's
assume
no moment like there is for the other ones. What makes her see him again in the first place when she hasn't seen him
that's
in years?
that is not one of the things. Oh, that makes her see him again?
For the first time at the beginning of the movie. She sees was it
I
Blossom?
think it's the video camera. And it's
Okay.
about because it's about memories. Like the movie's about like preserving
Yeah.
memory, and the video camera
Okay.
is that way that she did it.
Well,
And
actually, no, that makes sense because the place that she creates is like the circus, and
mhm.
that's what it's on the video camera. Yeah, that makes sense to me.
I feel like she gets into the mission of it all really, really quickly, really, really easily.
Oh, I
Like
thought it was
she's
slow.
well,
Yeah, I thought it was so
it takes
weird. Like this
it takes a
child sees
while in the
imaginary friends.
first act. She's sort of like, I'm not a kid. I'm 12. I'm grown up. And then she has that one moment where she's like, "You need help because I'm a kid." And then all of a sudden she's tap dancing with all these imaginary friends underneath the carnival ride.
I
And I felt
thought
like
that
that
was just
it happened a little fast for me.
that was just kind of stupid because any kid, any adult, anybody, any human being who saw animated imaginary things would be like, "Yes, sign me up. What the hell is this?" What I mean, what is that? That's magic. Who would not? Who would be like, "Yeah,
You
I
want to
don't
sign
think
up for the
so.
grand adventure.
You deal with it yourself." What, I mean, what is that? I've never understood that in kids' movies. They get given this like really cool thing. And it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's like, what else are you doing?
I don't know. I
Polar
mean,
Express is a
I
great
kind of get
example of
it
that.
to a certain extent, right? Like, when you're 12 or 13, kind of do think that
No,
you're,
no, I get it, but I also don't get it because seeing an imaginary friend in real life seems like something that would break the world, you know?
oh, yeah, it would.
It's
Yeah.
like,
Ben, what do you think
oh,
imaginary friend is?
my imaginary friend?
Yeah. There should be a
Uh,
BuzzFeed quiz for this.
huh?
There should be a
There's
BuzzFeed.
almost certainly a BuzzFeed quiz for
Yeah.
like
I
what your
think I had
imaginary
one.
friend would look
There
like.
Pretty sure I
definitely is
made one
one.
like when I was little. I don't remember what it was. I think it was just an amorphous being.
I'm pretty sure mine's
Just
Declan.
kept me
Like,
company.
like blue,
Pretty much. Or
amorphous being. That's
or
basically what
Steven.
blue is. Oh my God, Steven.
Also, some of those seem like they might be horrifying to children.
Like the marshmallow whose eye falls
Like the
off.
marshmallow is like this looks like it's from Rick and Morty. What the hell?
You know,
That was I
let's
literally cracked up in the theater though. That one was caught me so off guard with the eye falling. I was like, Jesus
it
Christ.
was in the trailer.
I didn't
I
see
would have
trailer.
had the same reaction if I hadn't remembered it from the trailer.
I like to be surprised.
Well,
AKA
I
I show
was
up right when all the trailers end.
I was talking to Max about this last week. I'm avoiding the inevitable Mission Impossible 8 trailer like the plague when it drops because
Oh,
I
so
need
you
to
don't
go into that
see
movie
the next stunt?
completely blind. Literally, I'm not going to watch Dead Reckoning for 6 months before this movie just so that I can go in and be completely blown away. I'm putting in the work by not doing any work.
So that means you have plenty of time to
All right,
watch
so what
next
so
movie.
what moment in this movie was the equivalent of Tom Cruise driving off on a motorcycle off the cliff in a motorcycle?
Um,
Probably when John Krasinski walked in and he started dancing with the mop or the
Mhm.
the cart,
I think when John
the
Krasinski made
IV drip
for
bag.
it and
That's what it was.
died in that horrific accident out the window, that was probably that moment. He tried to do a Tom Cruise and he just failed.
I remember that part too,
It
Ben.
was so
Really
sad to
good.
see B heartbroken,
I don't know, maybe your
losing
aspect ratio
two-thirds.
was messed up again.
All I saw was the rope. I could only
I didn't know
assume
what
that
was happening.
Ben,
underneath was his body.
the rope was a different imaginary friend. It just didn't have eyes. It was Keith the whole time.
But I actually think the aspect ratio definitely fucked up the movie.
No, it could not have.
Did it only happen for the first little bit, or was it for the whole
No,
thing?
the entire movie
Okay,
was screwed
I can
up.
see that ruining the
Like,
movie. I get
Yeah.
that. I get that.
but for the first 15 minutes, I couldn't get into it because I was like, is this right? It
It's
didn't feel right. I was
Ben,
like, this is a weird artistic
I
choice.
think this means you need to go to another theater to see it
No, Ben, I think what
properly.
this means is you need to wait until it
Okay.
comes out on streaming and watch it on your phone while you're commuting.
Yes, better aspect ratio. Imagine being able to see the entire movie on your phone, but not a movie screen. Yeah, I don't know. That I think that may have messed with my vibe. Obviously, it's not a good movie, but it is. I kept thinking. I read a review and it said this is a well-intentioned misfire, and I can agree with that. Certainly well-intentioned. It certainly seems like there's a lot of heart. There's a little too much clichéness and like
Yeah.
Sure.
schmaltziness for my taste. Um,
Ben,
even
one
when I was, to be fair, even when I was a kid, I never enjoyed this stuff. Um,
Ben
so
was 10:30.
one thing you said earlier, Ben, made me think of how I perceive the movie, and that is it just goes in so many different directions. Like it almost draws itself too thin with how many
yeah,
different plot elements it wants to work in.
Yeah,
And now I haven't seen Krasinski's other directorial work. Obviously, The Quiet Place is the big
yeah.
one.
I've seen A Quiet Place one. I haven't
But
seen the
I
others.
can imagine narratively this is way more jumbled than it needs to be.
yeah. I mean, A Quiet Place kind of
People
was.
did even they did criticize A Quiet Place for that, where it's
Yeah,
like it's
Really.
kind of
yeah.
because it's very cool, but like the scariness is the unknown, and it's just sort of garbled. Like you don't know anything because the movie's just giving you nothing. He's got like this board in his basement about everything. It's like, who are these aliens? What are they? Bugs? Completely useless information or something like that.
And now they're milking a third movie out of it, and it's
Yeah,
like,
A
okay, I get
prequel.
it.
and
Yeah,
it
and
is a weird thing. I don't know. I haven't looked up whether one of John Krasinski's parents died. Um, but this is A Quiet Place is definitely like about raising a family too. Um, Obviously different kind of story, but in that one, the dad, who's played by John Krasinski, he dies at the end. Spoiler for A Quiet Place.
he does.
So sorry.
The fuck?
I'm so sorry, George.
Have you not seen it?
I
Oh, you're not.
just said I hadn't seen it.
Well, you're not gonna watch it. It's fine.
Yeah, no,
I was thinking about it.
No, you weren't. Don't lie.
I'm sort of
no.
thinking about it.
There are so many other horror movies I'm gonna make you watch first. Um, but yeah, this
Wayne
is
Funky
two
Films then.
movies. He's only directed two movies, right?
Did he
Yeah,
not do
Quiet
Quiet Place
Place
Part
One and
2?
Quiet Place Two.
Oh, I guess he did do A Quiet Place Part Two, but I'm gonna count that as
But he's not doing day one that's
He's
coming
not
out.
doing day one.
yeah. But he's now killed in his two projects. I'll say he's killed the dad and then the mom. I mean, what's gonna happen in his third project? I'm kind of worried.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm not gonna
Did he
say
did
it.
he lose a parent though? Is this
I don't see anything. I'm looking.
because it's just kind of a weird thing to do if you to do
I mean,
twice, I'd say.
he's from Greater Boston, and that's a trauma, I'm guessing.
What?
Because
That
he's
has
from
to have been
Boston,
being
What?
from Greater Boston has to have been rough on his childhood.
man.
That's a leap.
I don't
Boston's
think
great, man. I know you don't
Shout
like
out
Boston.
Aiden, who I know
Boston's
is going
great.
to comment in response to that.
Aiden, I got you. Boston, I love Boston.
I have nothing against
Hey,
Boston.
some of my best friends are from Boston.
It would really suck to grow up in Connecticut, though.
Hey, pizza capital of the United States.
What?
Yeah, one of our congresswomen was in DC today
Was it Ayanna
declaring
Pressley?
on the House floor Connecticut to be the pizza capital of the United States.
Who was it?
Rosa DeLauro.
Oh, I like her. She's cool.
She's got purple hair.
Yeah, she
She was with
does. She
like
changes it. She changes it all the time. It was
she's
blue a couple months ago.
she flew down. I know because we covered the story today. Uh, like 100 like Connecticut pizza restaurant owners, pizzeria owners, flew down from New Haven today, and they were all with her in Washington as she declared uh, Connecticut the pizza capital of the United States in the congressional record. It's official now. It's official.
I don't think it's official. I
It's the
think
best
I
pizza
don't
in the
know. New
world.
Haven pizza is really good. So
It really is. You guys have to come up here.
New Haven's really good, but does it really top Texas pizza?
Ben, shut up.
Ben, take a lap, reset.
Yep, shut up, Ben.
What
Come on.
about California pizza?
Leave. If you had said New
Seriously,
York,
shut the
if you
fuck
had
up.
said New York, I would have been like,
I
okay,
purposely couldn't say
okay.
New York.
California.
What did
What are you gonna shout
California
Last
out
time I
pizza
went
next?
to
taste?
Like
California Pizza
Iowa
Kitchen, someone
pizza?
Aren't they
ordered.
famous for like the buffalo chicken pizza? Is that? I think that was them. That's what they say. It's just
But
like
that sounds
Chicago.
kind of good because I like
I mean,
buffalo
every
chicken.
place claims to be famous for its pizza. Whether or
Yeah.
not it's good is another matter.
Also, they're not the creators probably. So I mean, maybe they're the most popular ones, but
So back to If.
Sure, why not?
Um,
yeah, I
I
got
just
not.
before we go, I want to talk about the
His score is good. Michael Giacchino is always good.
Michael
Yeah,
Giacchino quite literally never misses. He did not need to go nearly as hard for this film as he did.
Well, he definitely pussyfoots around.
Not in this one.
I mean, like when you're excellent at what you do,
Yeah,
it's kind of
he's
like
always
it's
gonna.
kind of impossible to miss, right?
Yeah,
When
he's always
it's
gonna do
something
well.
like that, like he's just one of those guys. He'll just turn out something great.
So anyway, I want to talk about the artistry of the animation because we haven't yet. I feel as though this film presented a lot of different artistic ideas with the imaginary friends, but it could have gone further. It could have gone a lot further with how it drew them up. I want to get your thoughts on that.
Sure, but I don't really care. I mean, like you can push boundaries with that kind of stuff, but one, I think it because it's a kids movie, it kind of fits well, and that it's gonna be kind of, maybe not as creative, but I also think there's ways to work within that, right? Within the bounds of childhood imagination. And I think there's a line that maybe they didn't quite get up to, but I also think it was fine. I don't know if it was a detriment to the movie. I think they integrated it well within sort of the live action aspects. Like sometimes that would be kind of iffy, but um, I thought, shut up. Um, but I think it was pretty good. It looked okay. I have no issues with it.
Yeah, I think it looked fine. My concern is why is this movie $150 million? Because
And
that's
it's
The
not going
like
to
voice
make it back.
cast.
that's way too much money for the like. If you want to include special effects, that's fine. But did you need that much? I feel like they could have done a little bit less and done more with that. Like do the imaginary friends, but you didn't need to like have the whole scene of transforming the retirement home or whatever.
That was probably half of the visual effects budget was that
That's
sequence.
what I was thinking because I saw that and I was like, Jesus Christ, look at all this.
Just the floor, like
Yeah,
the
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 floor. Oh
carpet
my
to the
God.
tile. Oh my
yeah,
God.
It's like it's cool, but necessary? I don't know.
they could have
Yeah,
just done something like what they did at the end, where it sort of like rotates around one character.
Yeah, do the old school, like,
Yeah.
just move the camera, do a classic editing technique. Like, you don't need to do that much. It's just a waste of money at a certain point and a waste of resources, bad for the environment.
but not a waste of time because this movie at an hour 44 moves at a pretty good clip. I don't think there are any times when it really lags. I don't think there are any times when it's rushed. I think
No,
one thing that I can
that's
really
fine.
compliment about this movie is its pacing. I think Krasinski does a really good job.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty simple like a conclusion. It would be really bad if you couldn't fit the storyline within that time because it's
Well,
not
A
like there's
Quiet
a
Place
lot
is
of
only an hour and a half.
huh?
A Quiet Place is
The
only an
Quiet
hour
Place
and a
is
half.
an even simpler concept.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I mean
And I hear the dad dies at the end.
Mm-mm.
it's actually that's fake news.
Shut up,
It's the
Ben.
child. The child dies.
The child B, whose name you couldn't remember.
The child of fire, actually. Rebel Moon.
Oh God.
Did
The
you
movie
guys
is
find
sacrificed.
the reveal of Cal as B's imaginary friend predictable?
Yes.
Yes, but it is for kids. That's the one thing where I was like, all right, yeah, obviously, but it's for kids. I'll give them that.
I think the Blossom reveal being for the grandmother was a better one.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful scene, I actually have to say. I mean, like it was very
Oh,
simple,
Yeah,
with
but
that
Fiona
it was a
Shaw
love.
doing
I
the
thought it was
ballet.
lovely. Yeah. I
I
thought it was
think
I like
lovely.
that
yeah,
too.
I think that is a very good scene. Also
Yeah.
the music helps. It's
Hmm.
great.
Gorgeous. When it said Blossom Dearie on one of the vinyl on one of the records, I was like, oh, she's gonna play that one. And she didn't. I was upset about that, but only thing.
Would have been a little too perfect.
Yeah, it would have been a
Oh
little too
yeah,
on the
but like,
nose.
yeah, but it was right
I
there.
can't say I really love
So easy.
the heart thing. Um, or the red, like whatever,
Mhm.
their spirit reconnecting. I don't know what was going on.
Oh, with the glowing?
Yeah,
Mhm.
the glowing.
I mean, how much of that do you think was just like, let's make this a visual for kids to understand what's happening?
I
Like,
guess that.
Probably a good chunk of it, maybe even the
Yeah,
majority of the
that's
idea.
probably what it was, right? Like, obviously, we know what's going on.
yeah.
Like, he puts his hand on Bobby Moynihan's shoulder. Like, we know what's happening, right? Like, he can feel it and we can see it, right? When he says,
I feel like
you're
I mean
okay.
I'm just a
Like,
very harsh judge when it comes to kids movies. Like obviously I can
We
enjoy
know.
really good ones, like Finding Nemo, lots of Pixar stuff. Certainly
Inside
Toy
Out.
Story. But those are a little bit like they are more sophisticated. I feel like you can do a kids movie that is more sophisticated. One of the things that I
For
love
sure.
about old
Yeah.
kids movies is it seems like it has a little bit something for everyone. This is just a kids movie. It didn't give
Yeah.
me a lot as an adult. Anybody
No.
taking their kids to it, they're probably not going to enjoy it. And frankly, if you want to make back $150 million, you got to make sure that the adults can have a little bit of fun too. You make something both kids and adults can have fun, like Toy Story, they'll make $1 million. That was sorry, not a million, $1 billion.
Hopefully more than $1 million.
Yeah,
You're
we're
gonna
we're
make
trying to make
one
back
$1 million,
150 here.
not one penny more. But
No,
yeah, I think you could do a little bit more. And I
Sure.
get it that you're
Sure.
doing it for kids, but both John Krasinski's movies so far, I feel like they're punching below their belt. They're doing fine at what they're doing, but the movies are not going to be great
they
because
could do more.
they could do more. And he could do more.
I agree with that. Yeah.
But
I I
it's
would
not a
be
bad
interested.
movie.
I would be interested to see Krasinski direct a movie that he's not in.
Yeah, please do
Well,
that.
he did do that. Quiet Place Part Two.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I think he's in it in like a flashback.
Yeah, but he's not in it. In
He's
it.
not in it, no.
Certainly not to the extent of like what we were talking
I mean,
about a month and a half
to be
ago
fair,
with
he's
Dev
really
Patel
not.
doing Monkey Man and what we would want to see him direct next.
Yeah, but I mean, he's really not in this one very much. Like he plays like
Yeah.
he's in it for 5 minutes or whatever. So
Yeah.
it's practically like he's not there. I mean, he's a character in it, but he's not like he's
Yeah.
directing himself a lot.
I think he's talented though. I mean, I think he's a pretty good writer. I think he
No,
wrote
I
and
mean he's
directed.
definitely got the
Yeah.
chops. It's just
Yeah.
getting into it.
Yeah.
He seems like he's playing it almost safe in some ways and a little crazy in others, but
Yeah.
I think he'll get there.
I mean, he's like, I don't know, he's just got like a curiosity, I think, that kind of is the point of this movie, right? Like he's got these ideas. He's got stories that he wants to tell.
Hmm.
I mean, he was an executive producer on Jack Ryan, the Amazon show, which is fantastic, by the way, if you haven't seen it. Um, A Quiet Place, it has its flaws, but it's smart. I mean, it's simple, but it's smart.
It's good.
I haven't seen part two in a while. I think I only saw it once, and I obviously haven't seen day one. And I think they're probably dragging this out too long. 3 films for a concept that could have ended at one movie.
Yeah, well,
But that's just how it
they're
goes.
hungry for the
That's how it
cash.
goes. That's how it goes.
Shogun season 2 and 3.
Oh, Ben, I know you wanna kill yourself because of that. I know you hate it.
I say if I was Hiroyuki Sanada, I simply just I mean, it's tough. It's like I want him to get his paycheck. He deserves his recognition and his
Everything.
and the money.
Everything.
But damn, I'd be tempted to just get up and be like, no, you're just disrespecting at a certain point.
Used to compromise
Leave it
PR.
alone. Do something else. I don't know. Do another Japanese story. Just don't make Shogun season 2.
Hire me for the Japanese story. Just don't make it Shogun season
Yeah.
2.
Anything. Jesus.
Do you guys want
But
to see
yeah,
an If sequel?
no.
Not do you want to see it? Because I know how Ben's going to answer that question. But do you think there should be one?
No.
No, it's not gonna happen. There's
Agreed.
not enough money. But
All right.
it's not the fault of the film, it's a fault of the budgets. Like not every film is capable of making the the box office necessary to offset these budgets.
Hmm.
It's like borderline impossible. I mean, you're banking on like $400 million at the box office. It's ridiculous.
For this,
Yeah.
releasing
Yeah.
like pre-Memorial Day weekend, like there's no way.
It'll be very interesting to
It's
see
so
how it
silly.
does in weekend 2
Yeah.
over the holiday,
Yeah.
That's like when a
especially with
Halloween movie releases in like February. What are you doing?
Yeah, that
you're
there's
being
been a
set up to
few of
fail by your
those.
distributor.
Yeah, I mean, you really are. But I don't think this movie was set up to fail based off of its distribution.
This is too like high of a budget of a movie to be failed like that. I feel like you could just wait. Normally, like horror movies get deterred because they're lower budget, and the distributor is just like subpar and releases it late, does something stupid.
Just
Uh,
wait till some American distributor makes Megalopolis a Christmas movie or a
Ugh.
Christmas
yeah.
release.
Then again, Die Hard did
July.
fine. Did fine.
It was the movie of the summer of '88.
Yeah. Sometimes, if you make a good enough movie, I guess.
And If is a good enough movie, but not good enough in the way you're talking about.
No, it's not Die Hard.
It's
It's
good enough.
fine. It's a fine movie.
It's
Like,
a fun family summer flick.
yeah,
You don't
Yeah.
need to, turn your brain all the way on for it.
no. You can zone out for like half an hour and get right back into it. You'll be fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a very big active watcher of things. I like to be
Yeah,
looking
Ben
for
was riding a stationary bike when he was watching this movie.
I don't know.
Active
Yeah,
watching.
Ben, when I went to see Madam Web with Ben, he was taking notes. It was weird.
Yeah, that's true. I had to make sure.
And Max, what happened when you
Ben had
went
to
to see
make
Madam
Ben,
Web with me?
Ben
Let me
had to
look at
make
the timeline here. And does
Yeah,
this match up?
Ben had to make sure that Madam Web was actually happening. So he wrote down like a memory journal of like the shit that happened, some of the quotes that were said. Because it
This
didn't
is
feel
not a
good.
fever dream, right?
Yeah.
We got to
It's
remember the biggest quote that was not said though.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh, she was in the Amazon. Well, all those things were uttered, just not together.
Yeah, they were uttered, and then the ADR work had to like CGI the mouth to almost match.
Unbelievably bad.
Who in the
I've never
world
seen.
would like
I've seen over
this?
1,000
Unbelievably
movies.
bad.
I've seen
The
over
trailer.
1,000 movies in varying degrees of visual work, and the ADR work on Madam Web might be the technically worst element of any film I've ever seen.
But how did they make a trailer that's almost worse than the movie?
Trailer's not worse than the movie.
Trailer is not worse than the movie. The trailer makes it look like Venom.
The trailer gets you in and out in a minute and a half. The movie is an hour 40.
I just can't believe that they made that line in the trailer. Like that who
He was in the Amazon with her mom when she was
Guys,
researching spiders
imagine we got a
just
two and a
before she
half
died.
hour version of Madam Web. Just imagine.
Director's
Imagine
cut.
having to sit in the theater for 2.5 hours
Snyder
watching.
cut, release the Snyder cut.
Spend your Memorial Day weekend enjoying good times with family, reflecting on the service of those who gave their lives in service of their country. See if you got nothing else to do or if it rains. In the meantime, we will be heading out to the post-apocalyptic wastelands of Australia next week. We are talking about Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. Looking forward to that. In the meantime,
Also, Furious is
see you
good.
next week.
You can go see that as well. I can already recommend that.
Ben's excited. All right. Good night.
Good
Good
night.
night.